Hello and welcome back to EPT 11 right here in Barcelona during day 2 of the Super High Roller. I managed to find Polk, who's playing in a live tournament, but he's actually more of a cash game fan. Recently on Twitter, there's been quite a debate between him, a bunch of other online pros, and Mr. Daniel Negreanu about playing high-stakes cash games. Doug, give me a little insight on what's going on.
So the bet specifically was Daniel Negreanu said he could log on and be a winner at 25.50 NL after 2 weeks of study. I actually got a chance to talk with Daniel, and I think that when he originally said that, I think he was saying that it's something that he could do if he set his mind to it. And he said he'd bet $1 million, but then it kind of became apparent that he wasn't really interested in doing it. Basically, he said that he doesn't really want to have to leave and go abroad for 2 months because his life is already so awesome. Which is like, it's a nice way of declining because I'm like, oh. But yeah, so I think realistically, I don't think that that's very likely. Of course, over small samples, you can win in any game. But I think that it was a bit, I don't know, it came across to the online people like he was undervaluing how hard it is to get there. And if you play 25-50 no limit online these days, you're really good. And that took a lot of work. And I think he didn't realize how that kind of felt for the online community.
Do you think that it's mostly Negreanu underrating online cash games, or do you also think that maybe some online cash gamers are underrating Negreanu?
It's certainly a mix of both, but you have to think about the environment that he's talking about. No one's saying, oh, Negreanu couldn't win in live poker and talking about what he plays in. He's talking about an environment that he's not familiar with, and so he's making claims on something that he's not familiar with. So while, yes, I think that Negreanu is getting undervalued slightly by the online community, he doesn't really have the skill set that I think is necessary to succeed in those games. And I mean, all right, so I've played in the 6 max games a bunch, and in the past year, my win rate has probably been 1.5 EV big line in EVB. And I feel like I worked pretty hard to get that, and it wasn't that easy. And in most games, it's 5 good regs and 1 fish that's losing at between depending on the fish, between 5 and 30. And you have to try and compete with the actual best 6 max players. So just to say that you could log on after 2 weeks and then just boom, you're just winning. Yeah, that's gonna come across like you don't know what you're talking about. And even though it is something that I think online people are gonna kind of hold against Negreanu, he still needs to kind of understand a little bit more about the landscape.
Mm-hmm. One final thing, can you give a little insight on how much the level of play has changed online over the years? Of course, you've been around for quite a while online, but Negreanu has played poker for a much longer period of time. Can you give an insight on how the game online has changed?
Yeah, so I guess I started playing online in 07, but I didn't really play until 08. And in that time period, games have changed a lot. The ideas that were a commonplace 5 years ago are now, seen as ancient and not very good. So there's definitely been kind of a transformation away from what is considered to be just good poker and more towards the math and the theory side of things. And unless you're really putting in the homework on hand analysis, understanding equity threshold, all this kind of stuff, unless you're really going to put in the time that it takes to figure those things out and apply them in real time in a game, you just really can't hang. And there are good players that could probably crush any stakes live that log on and they're just considered to be fish. There are a lot of people that are like that. I don't really want to name specific people, but there's lots of them like that. So to just say you could do it, I don't know, online poker's changed a lot and it's way more tough nowadays than it was in 2009.
So you're challenging Negreanu?
I am challenging Negreanu. We have to set some exact terms, and I don't want it to be I challenge to whatever he says, but if we can get a bet in place where he has to play 25-50 on PokerStars over a reasonable sample, yes, I would bet Negreanu.
Well, you heard it here first. Polk challenging Daniel Negreanu, of course, pending the terms, to play 25-50 online and put some money on there. Thank you very much, and stay tuned to PokerNews.com.